people want to label me as a coach killer about that whole situation, but really that's all it is. It's just certain coaches fit certain teams, and that's what it was. It don't make the coach bad or good. What's up, y'all? It's another From the Point, from your favorite point. What's up, Wince?
What's up, man? How you been?
Episode 3, man. You good?
Episode 3, we're back. We did some exciting things. This weekend, we hit the U.S. Open out at LA Country Club. Man, you had a fit on at the U.S. Open. You had a fit.
Yeah, man. You see it? Had to make the ground.
I tried. I was definitely going for more like the white dude at the country club who played golf on Saturdays with his pops. That's kind of what I was going for.
Yeah, you fit right in, man.
I think I did an okay job. You know what I'm saying?
You did your thing. I ain't gonna lie.
The shirt was a little bright though. I will say that. The shirt was a little bright. But
yeah. Yeah, that was standoutish.
Did you actually know that LA Country Club might be one of, if not the most strict on dress code of any country club in the United States?
So that's was I even allowed to wear them jeans that I wore?
You asking the wrong person. I'm not a member there. I wouldn't know.
You said you're strict. I didn't see nobody else there with jeans now that I think about it.
I don't know this for a fact, Ice, but I think there's definitely some overlying PGA, because we're having it. It's okay. You could put the fit on today if you want to.
That's why they let me walk around. Okay.
Right. That was a good fit though. I'll give you that. That was a good fit.
Good looks, bro. Appreciate it.
It was so fun walking around from all the different. I know we walked from hole 1 all the way to hole 18. It was lit, man.
A long leg day. No, that was my first one too. I didn't know what to expect. Going there,
neither.
We had tickets, but everybody was just walking around. You didn't really sit in your spot or go anywhere.
And there was no, other than when guys would tee off, there was no schedule. NBA games starts at, it might be 5:30 Pacific time, but it's 8:30 Eastern. And when you guys are about to start the game, there was kind of just a flow of people the whole time.
No, it was crazy. That was a new experience for me. So going to see all that was really cool. We didn't stay the whole day, but being able to see all that was really cool.
Obviously, we have both said, that was our first time at a live golf tournament. We've played a couple times. Who's the best one of our friend group? Golfer.
Oh, for sure, me. Bro, you second. It's out of 5 of us, you're probably second.
I'm probably second.
I'm first. So we can keep it 100.
I'll stay humble. I'm probably second.
We're both not that great, but
I'm excited though as we get older to start picking up golf more and more though.
It'll be more like therapy. It'll be good. We can be not out there struggling.
Have you played with any of your NBA peers?
Have I? No, I know a couple of my friends who do. I know a lot of my friends who do. I had a lot of teammates who did too. Vince Carter, he was one of the first people that I think he went to the LA Country Club. He's the first person who told me about that. And Ken Bazemore.
I think during the Boston series this year, your dad was either had posted something on social media about playing golf with Jason's dad.
Yeah.
I found that to be so funny. That was hilarious.
That's dads doing what dads do.
But I hope that's us one day. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah.
Dads out there. You're already a dad. I'm not yet.
Yeah. I'm already pops, man. But that's dope though. You gotta enjoy those type of moments because I remember they've been homies since me and Jay was in high school, so playing against each other in the AAU circuit. So
right.
That's the dream. So and golf is one way you can connect with people. You can go out there and talk, do whatever, drink, whatever, have fun. Just play golf and have some fun. So I'm never gonna be out there with them pros, but
and the US Open definitely gave off that vibe too of just the spectators. It was like a hangout. I had never experienced anything like that before at a sporting event.
No, it was so fun to go to. We ran into some people, so it was so fun. So I'm looking forward to going back.
We had a blast for sure. We also hit the Dodgers game on Father's Day. I know that was super dope.
Yep. Going to that legendary stadium was dope. Just knowing the history in that stadium was really cool. Taking my son to his first baseball game was really cool. Father's Day. it was fun. So
him running laps the whole time was hilarious, bro.
Oh yeah, he's walking, so like he don't stop now, so it's cool.
Man, he was walking. I remember there was like that circular thing in the middle of the room that we were in. He was walking around the whole time, just in circles.
Didn't even care about the game, but
didn't care about the game at all.
He'll learn one day.
It would be great if we dived right into, you know, some topics that I know you've been wanting to talk about, and I know that your fans would love to hear. So there's been a lot of noise on NBA Twitter lately. You know, there have been some situations that come about Ja and Zion, and I know you and I have reflected on this in private, but how do you feel about kind of the noise that's been going on around social media and stuff in regards to kind of NBA Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, we're in the era where we kind of grew up in it, and I mean, since AAU, like, we've all kind of had social media, had Twitter, had Facebook, or MySpace at one point. Yeah. Like, we've all had social media. Like, it kind of started with us in our era. So it's kind of like weird kind of being in the NBA. Like, it's a totally different like experience having social media. But I mean, it's crazy. Like, just certain situations that are going on right now.
Right.
I mean, with Zion and Ja or whatever. But there's, I mean, other instances that's happened. But I mean, you hate to see it. I mean, for me, like, I know them personally, so like I really hope they get out of this situation and pull out on the right side, because of
course,
like, they're so talented, like, they're so good. Like, the league needs these types of players in the league for it to go. Because I mean, obviously, Bron, guys like KD, like, these guys are getting older, so guys are about to start being out the league. So I mean, you need guys like Ja and Zion, like, they're so talented, like, to be in the league, because they're both really good dudes. And I mean, I'm pulling for both of them, and I think they will pull out, I mean, on the right side. And really, Z, for Zion, I think it's just getting healthy for him. He just needs to get on the court, and I just hope he really gets healthy.
How do you view being a role model, and how important do you think that is, not only for you, but for all young NBA players coming up trying to make a name for themselves?
I mean, like, I don't hold that lightly. Like, I feel like the responsibility of me just being in the NBA, and just me just being and having the platform I have, and just accomplishing the things that I've accomplished so far. And I know I have so much that I can, and so much more that I'm gonna accomplish, but just what I've accomplished so far is rare. So like, I don't hold back on any giving guys information, younger kids. And when I'm traveling, I see kids, like, I'm always trying to show them love, because I wish that NBA player was that for me, and like they were, some guys were for me. So like I said, I don't hold that lightly.
And I'm glad you said, because I know you don't, and I know the way that you engage with your fans is, I like to say, one of a kind, because I think it truly is. You can even talk about I can talk about the way that you stopped every single time somebody asked you for a photo at the U.S. Open.
Yeah,
you stopped. Every single time. And I felt like we were like about to start running sprints again about stop, start. but for real, I think that's a cool testament to you, of just knowing what that is, and kind of that understanding that you are that role model. I think that's super important.
Appreciate it. No.
Yeah.
We've had games where in high school it would be crazy. After a game, the locker room, fans would be all outside. I would take pictures and sign autographs, but like, that's just how it was. And
do you remember that tournament in Missouri that we had, where it was right before? Yeah. And like, we had to like walk out, like, because the game was lit. Insane.
But yeah, I remember, because it was right outside the locker room. It was flooded with people, flooded with fans. And I mean, even since high school, I've been that way. So yeah, no.
Have you ever at any point in your life felt like any type of pressure when it comes to being a role model for other people? Or is it just kind of something naturally that you just kind of knew of?
For me, like, being a role model became natural, because like, since like probably middle school, like, I just remember like my dad and just always teaching me and telling me, like, prepare like a pro, think like a pro, like, carry yourself like a pro. Like, I mean, I remember not even, like, my friends and everybody wanted to hang out and have parties on weekends. Like, I didn't even think about that type of stuff. Like, it was just so much of, how can I get to the league? Like, how can I think like a pro? Like, I mean, I need to be in the gym. Like, I got to get up in the morning, because I'm getting up at 6 right before school. Like, I just always thought like a pro. So like whenever I became a pro, it wasn't necessarily new for me or anything really changed because I was always thinking like that.
Right. So I think this brings up a good opportunity to kind of talk about the antithesis of what it means to always feel the love and always feel people shouting your name. You know, there have been a lot of instances to where, you know, people have been chanting F you, Trae Young. Yeah. Like, how do you deal with the pressure of that too? Because you know, you're a hooper, you're a baller, like you got to produce too. So
I mean, for me, I just take it with a grain of salt. Like, but at the same time, I use it as fuel. Like, for me, I was telling somebody the other day, like I don't like being looked at as like a villain or like looked at as a certain person, because I'm not. Like, if you meet me, like we could be cool. Like me and the next person could be just alike. And so I don't like it, but at the same time, if what I'm doing in basketball is making you feel this way in this certain type of way towards me, like it's not gonna faze me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna let it fuel me. I mean, and really just use it that way. But I don't like it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I think a lot of people get that misinterpreted.
Right. I'm glad you said that lets it fuel you, like kind of that negative energy too, because it does, and it has been. I mean, since we started playing together, so I know that's definitely not.
No, for sure. Even since high school, like when I was getting those overrated chants, like that doesn't faze me. Like, I was getting 40, 50, and I was winning. Like, they were still going to chant the next game. Like, it didn't matter to me. So like, I've been through this, and like, that's the thing. Like, difference between me and maybe the next person is like, I've had an experience since high school, getting yelled overrated, getting yelled FU chants at, like, because I've really been doing a lot of things. I mean,
doing this for a while.
I've been hooping for a while. So it's like, people, I mean, the more you do, the more negative attention it brings to you too. So I don't.
And always the infamous New York series always comes up when you hear like the FU Trae Young and all that. Fans actually went as far to actually spit on you in that game. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know that, but a fan actually spit on you.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be honest with you, like, I didn't know, like, during the game, like, obviously if you watch it, you see it happen, and it was a topic the next day on everything, but I didn't necessarily feel it during the game. I was just more focused on the game, but it was crazy. Like, little things like that, it's just uncalled for. Like, basketball, it can be competitive. You can yell whatever you want. Like, I don't care. Like, to be honest, you can yell whatever towards me, as long as it's not towards my family or nothing towards them. I mean, I don't care what you say towards me, but I mean, doing stuff like that, that's overboard.
That takes the humanness out of it. I would say, like, at the end of the day, we're all humans too. But was there anything about that instance that people don't know by chance? Like, was there anything specific that followed that, like, the world doesn't know? Like,
no, not really. Besides, I mean, obviously people were trying to get me to sue him or do whatever and get him in more trouble than what he already had gotten into. And I just told him whatever. Like, I think he got suspended from the building for a while. I don't know if he's able to come back now, but I told him I don't even want to take it any further. But I mean, nothing really too much.
Right. I know we had talked about kind of the noise that's been going on, kind of in NBA Twitter, social media, that kind of that realm. Free agency also starts in a couple weeks, but a lot of this time when actually basketball isn't on and people can't see everything that goes on, media outlets and social media dominate kind of what goes on. What have your experiences been on media having such a heavy influence during this time? And yeah, like, how do you feel about that?
To be honest with you, it's not going anywhere. So like, I think the media is what it is. I think for me, I don't have a problem with the media and like how certain things are controlled. I just don't like, for me as a basketball player, media having a certain amount of like pull on certain guys, like contracts and things like that when it comes to voting and things like that. Like, I think that's where they can be left out of it and it can be handled a different way. But for me, like, I have no problem with media and like how they go about their business. I mean, they're here to do a job too. So I have no problem with the media, and especially like right now, like in this time of year with the draft and free agency, everything going on, it's going to be a heavy time with media and players.
For sure. That gives a nice segue, I would say, to the media labeling you as a coach killer since your third year in the league. Just off the rip, like, how do you feel about that term? Like, I know you and I have had a lot of conversations. It's lame, but why?
I mean, it's just lame. Like, to me, like, it's just, for me, like, I haven't had very many coaches, like, as much as people think. Like, I mean, coming into the league, I had a coach, Lloyd. Like, me and Lloyd had such a good relationship, but there was a lot of rocky roads. Like, I think the reason me and Lloyd really couldn't see eye to eye on certain things is because he wants to win just as bad as I did.
Right.
But the team we had wasn't built to win at that time. And so I feel like he was brought in to be a development coach, and I was trying to win. You know what I'm saying? Like, and those two things just don't work well with each other. Cause like, there's a lot of days, like I was working my ass off. Like my second year, like I was working hard trying to win, and we weren't winning as much, but I was an all-star starter like my second year.
Crazy numbers that year.
And I was playing hard, but I just feel like we didn't see eye to eye, and I just feel like he didn't believe in me as much as the organization did at times. And so I just think, and that kind of just bumped heads. And to be honest, I have so much love for him just because I remember those workouts that we had coming in to the league. So for me, all I can speak on is how I feel towards him. And I mean, I don't know how his feelings are towards me, if they're the same or mutual, but he was a hell of a development coach and hell of a coach for us at the time, and hell of a coach for me, like going through on my journey to where I'm going to go to. So
made you better, made the team better. So in essence, he was successful at what he was brought in to do.
And I think Lloyd would tell us too, like he knew what it was, and he just, because we weren't winning, and this league is all about results and what have you done for me lately. So I mean, I kind of knew, and I think everybody in the organization, including Lloyd, knew what was coming. And then we got Nate, obviously, and then Nate took over, and halfway through Lloyd Pierce's firing that 2.5 year, 2.5 years with him. And I mean, Nate did a great job. We went to the conference finals, like hell of a job.
Which is so difficult to do.
Yeah, so difficult. And then with Nate on the staff, it was obviously another situation. We all kind of knew he was a head coach before who had done really great work in other places. And we kind of knew what the thing was. And having some vets on my team at that point, that was my third year, I kind of known what was kind of coming. And I think with Nate, having vets like Gallo and, I mean, Lou Will, like the guys we had, like it really helped him. And it made us a really, really good team. And we were able to go to the conference finals. And it just made us really good that year. And it just fit that team fit Nate.
Yep.
And I think that just is what that year revolved around. And people want to label me as a coach killer about that whole situation. But really, that's all it is. It's just certain coaches fit certain teams, and that's what it was. It don't make a coach bad or good.
Yeah, and I know you've talked too. You take positives from all your leadership, going all the way back to Coach Kruger at OU, Coach Pierce, Coach McMillan, and Quinn too. Like you've said, you've never said anything negative to me about that leadership and how influential they've been, and how they've molded you throughout your career to be a leadership for your team and organization now.
Well, I mean, I can't. I mean, when I got drafted, Lloyd, I mean, I remember my first trip down to Atlanta. I mean, Lloyd picked me up from the hotel and took me out to dinner. We had a good conversation, great conversation. I didn't even know I was going to get drafted there until draft night. Got it. He called me. Like we had a great, I have so much appreciation for LP because of being drafted to Atlanta right when he got his first head coaching job opportunity. Like I have all appreciation for him and Nate. I take a lot from my coaches. Like as much as people want to say what they want, like, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. There's obviously coaching turnover every year in the NBA, but in particular this year, there has been a lot of coaching turnover, yet this label of a coach killer. I haven't seen any cartoons with anybody else, you know, being labeled a coach killer or anything like that. Yeah. Why do you think that you get the label and other peers that you have don't?
Who knows? It could be just because of that one Knicks series and people look at me as a villain and somebody they can just throw hate on and throw certain names and labels at. Yeah. Could be that. It could be, being in Atlanta, we just haven't won a chip yet. You're going to find out the more negative things. You're going to try to point out the negative things in the situation, especially if you're not winning, more than you are writing the good stories about him or what he's doing for the community. How he's impacting this and that. Like, they don't want to preach those things. They just want to label the coach killer and certain things like that. So I don't think that helps with it either.
And then any relationship, coaching, whatever, you're always going to bump heads with somebody. It's not always going to be, you know, just a smooth roll the whole time. Friends, coaches, peers, coworker, whatever it is. Like, I think that's important to say too, is like, this is not abnormal to like butt heads with anybody that you're working with.
And that's life, man. That's how it is. That's how it is in every job. So,
and then that kind of rolls back into like the media having power. And then all of a sudden, Trae Young is the coach killer of the NBA. When in reality, like, there have been some amazing relationships that you've had with these coaches that never get talked about.
Did I mention how I like the media at the beginning of this whole thing? That's a big reason why I'm starting this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those things will get cut out way quicker now. Like, I didn't like hearing those things for a long periods of time, and now I have this. I can get it out quicker. But no, that's definitely something that I think about.
And I know you also came under a little bit of fire too whenever stories leaked about you flying back privately from Miami under Nate's leadership.
Yeah.
You know, how did you feel about that whole situation? And
it was funny. Like, it's funny how it came out like a whole year later, a year and a half later, like the whole story. And I'm not going to lie and say I didn't fly back private after winning that game in Cleveland. I remember my fiance being pregnant at the time, and I really wanted them to come down to Miami to watch the game, watch the series. And so I got him a plane because it was during COVID. Like, you know what I'm saying? People still getting sick and people like into COVID, whatever. And she's pregnant. So I'm not about to, if I can do it, I'm going to do it. So
right.
Put him on a plane, whatever. Send him to Miami. We're in Miami, whatever, after the game, second game. The whole time, like, I had told the GM at the time that I was going back. So like, that wasn't nothing false. Like I
that you were flying back with your family.
That I was flying back with my family.
Correct.
Like, so I remember telling them that before we even got to Miami, like whenever we were in Cleveland, we were in Cleveland, telling them I'm flying them there. And then I remember reminding them when we got to Miami. So, for me, it was a personal decision. I flew them down there because I wanted my family to experience the playoffs. I fought my ass off to get us to even get to Miami. And so I told them even before, like, I didn't have to express it to the media that I was going back with my family or anybody.
Right.
Like, if anything, I owed it to my teammates and I owed it to my coaches and my GM, like, letting them know. So that's the only thing about it. Like, for me, if you know me, I'm family first, but like, I understand I'm gonna do my job too at the same time. So I was doing my job, trying to handle the business. I didn't play very well, and so it looks worse. So, but at the whole time, I had already made my plan up, and I think I handled the situation good, not great. Like, I feel like I remember the next day, I think we had a day off, so nobody was even in the gym. But I remember like some of the guys or whatever, like talking about like asking where I was or whatever. And I didn't tell my teammates that I was leaving. I didn't express to my teammates, but it was after a game, after a loss, whatever. Nobody talks to each other, even after regular season losses. Like, we're all talking, whatever, but I get it. It was the playoffs, so it's a different stage. But for me, that's the only thing I take out and I could have been better at. And I remember calling Lou the next day because of just hearing from talking to my GM, whatever, that some of the guys were asking where I was. And he was like, he was just telling me how that was the only thing I could have done better. Just tell my teammates that I was flying back with the family. Like, he wouldn't have tripped. Nobody would have tripped. Like, everything would have been great. Like, if I could have done anything better, that's the only part I would have changed. I would have still flown back privately, just because I would have done it for my family and my teammates would have understood. But you can kind of see the look. Like, you have an off day the next day, you in Miami, you know what I'm saying? Nobody knows what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if your teammates don't know what you're doing and the GM don't tell the team what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just what it is. So that's kind of what happened. But if I could have done anything better, that's it.
Yeah, just some gaps in communication, and I know you improved on that, you know, moving forward and stuff. I think you said it best too, is that you want to be there for your teammates. Like, and that's been the same since, you know, I've known you, and you just want to be available for your teammates by any means necessary. And whatever you have to do, you're going to do to be able to be there for your teammates in the best way possible.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes if it takes sitting and going through some bruises and playing through it, I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I've always been. And God willing, I don't get hurt doing it. But I mean, that's just how I've been, and that's how I'm always gonna be.
And if that takes you being in a good mental state, knowing that your fiance is safe and healthy, by chartering a plane back to Atlanta from Miami to make sure that she's healthy with your future kid on the way, you're gonna do it to make sure.
That was my whole plan. And you're right. Like, that's like making sure everybody's healthy. I want to be healthy. I want my teammates healthy. Like, I'm one guy that don't trip if my teammates sit out practice. Like, I never tripped when Gallo would sit out of practice, or because I knew Gallo was always going to be ready for the games. Like, I knew Lou was always going to be ready for the games if he didn't miss the shoot around or something. Like I'm the type of guy, I don't trip off of that. As long as you're ready to play, as long as you're ready to go and lace them up when it's time to go, like, that's all I care about. So.
And I'm glad that's been acknowledged, because I've never heard anybody say, man, Trae's not ready to play when he steps on the court.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
No,
I've never heard that.
No.
Moving on, you know, from that, you have a new coach, Coach Quinn. I know we've touched on who he is as a coach and all that, but what have you taken away from him already, even in just the half season that you've been with him? And what are you looking forward to learning from him and building with him going into next season?
And just like this little short time and that I spent with Quinn, like, for me, like, I'm already ranking him as probably my second best coach that I've had, like, ever. Like, I think my AAU coach, Coach Perry, is the best coach I've ever had. I mean, person who took me from being unranked to a top 5 PG in my class, top 3 PG to end it. Like, I mean, he's been one of my favorites. But then Quinn just is, like, they have so much in similar as far as, like, their cerebral, like, abilities, like, just making my life easier. Like, as a point guard, like, being a PG is one of the toughest positions in all the sports. Like, because you got to understand, like, you controlling everybody. Like, you controlling all your teammates. You looking, and you on defense, you got to communicate on offense. Like, you got to be that coach on the court. And so anytime a coach can make your job easier, it makes it so much better. And so for me, like, he just, in his little time I spent with him already, he's made my job so much easier, because he's super smart and always communicating and easy to communicate with too.
And kind of last thing on this, but looking back on the two coaches that you've had in the league, Coach Kruger at OU, and then Quinn now, what have been some lessons that you've learned from all of them that you think are going to prepare you kind of for this next phase? You're going into year 6. You know, you're not only a leader on your team, you're a leader of your organization. You know, how have you feel like you've learned from all of them to be better?
It's like looking at my coaches is like looking at the PGs when I was growing up. Like, I took a little bit from everybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, Coach Krug, like, just how he was so poised with everything, whether it was, he never got him rattled. You never seen him too high or too low. He was always just Krug. Like, he was always himself. He would get on you, but he would always pick you up. And that's one thing from Krug. I mean, LP, like, he was just a competitor. Like, thing about LP, he just competes. And that's one thing he just wanted all of us to do, is just compete hard, wanted us to stay in the gym, get better. And that's one thing about him. And then, I mean, obviously Nate, one thing I'll never forget about Nate is that he always wanted me to change gears. He never wanted me to be a Ferrari all the time. He said sometimes you need to go 25 and a 25, like just be cruising. So sometimes like, and I think about changing speeds and changing directions, things like that. I think of like Nate, like, you know what I'm saying? So I got that from Nate, and obviously Quinn, I'm just getting started. But I mean, one thing I already know, I mean, he's a competitor, dog. Like Quinn is a beast, man. Like I just know like this city is gonna love Quinn. You know what I'm saying? This is just a great partnership, and I'm looking forward to working with Quinn. This first season for sure.
And I know you've even talked about like how he'll break down film like immediately after, and like is already sending you notes of like, this is what we got to do.
He's like me. He don't sleep. So like it seemed like
yeah,
like,
right.
He'll call me or text me at 1 a.m, like a whole paragraph page. Like it's crazy. Like he's definitely like me in a lot of ways. So I think that's why we get along, and I get him a lot.
I'm super excited for our fans to hear what you've been working on, what we've been working on over here from The Point. So I'm excited for this. This is great.
Easy. We done? That's the third one?
That's episode 3.
All right. That's episode 3. From The Point, from your favorite point. Till next time.